Welcome to my Brim Smoke guide for Summit. This map has been out for a little while now, and I think I have a general idea on where the best smokes are. That's what this video is going to be showing you guys. Timestamps will be listed below for returning viewers or for anybody that would like to see a certain set of smokes. Before we do any of that, I want to give you guys a general rule of thumb in case this is the first time you're seeing a smoke guide from me. This is considered a good smoke, whereas this is considered a bad smoke. Now, this is considered a bad smoke because enemies can come out of it in whatever angle they want and throw off your crosshair placement if you're holding it. Plus, they can use this smoke to isolate fights and make it easier on them to get their picks and then right back into your smoke and get back to safety. So don't smoke like that. Let's start off with attacking A. If you're 5-manning through main, you actually have a couple different options here, depending on the situation, whether there may be certain guns in play, or your econ might be a little rough in certain situations. Now, this door. I would still place a smoke on it. Now, yeah, I would recommend shutting the door as well, but if you have the guns, I would recommend just smoking it off like this. That way, in case anybody is playing an art, you'll be able to get cover from that while you go shut the door. But then I would also drop a second smoke right here on Link.
Smoke's down.
Like this. That way, art's covered up, and then you can shut the door and then clear out. There's a lot of angles that you'll need to worry about whenever you're attacking A. And when you're attacking in general, there's a lot of angles to worry about, so you really need to watch out for that. But then that smoke right there will cover Link for you while you get on site and get the bomb down. Now, let's say you either have a weak econ and you're on a save, or if you're worried that enemies may be holding you right there with an op. Here's what you can do. Instead of smoking Art and Link, you can smoke off both sides of the box like this and like this.
Smoke's down.
That way, you can just try and keep your close gun advantage and then try and get the bomb down that way instead of having to fight all of those far angles, especially if you have a weaker gun, or if, like I said, if somebody might be holding right here, especially with an op. So that'll eliminate that possibility. But at the same time, I would still be careful with these smokes because enemies could still be playing behind the boxes here, and they can come out of one of your smokes to get a pick on you guys as you're going onto site. So just a little something to keep in mind if you have to use these smokes. Attacking B, if you're 5-manning through main, is pretty similar to A, where you have a couple of options here. If you have good guns, what you can do is smoke Heaven, and then also smoke Jim and Link, like this.
Fully smoked.
It does use all three of your smokes, but you will need them for B. And then again, just be mindful that you do have a lot that you'll need to clear as you go on site. So just be careful. And then with this smoked off, if anybody's Heaven, they won't be able to see you as you go shut the door. And then you can be on your way. Now let's say you have weaker guns. I would still smoke Heaven if the door is not closed. That way you'll have cover to go for it. And then I would also just smoke both sides of sight, like this in particular.
Launching smoke.
That way, anybody that may be coming in from mid won't be able to see you cross in. And then anybody that's playing backside as well won't be able to see you cross in. And that is a pretty powerful angle for defenders to take too. However, just like with A, I would make sure somebody is at least paying attention to these smokes as well, or maybe even playing in one, because you're basically giving up all of this backside space here since you have closer guns, and enemies can try and take advantage of that. So use your close guns to your advantage and maybe play in the smokes to try to catch people off guard as you're going in. Mid is actually pretty tricky to defend with just orb smokes, and I'll show you why once we get to that point. But mid is pretty powerful space to take. But let's say you want to split through mid and end A. Drop your first smoke bottom mid, that way you can have that space covered. And even if anybody is playing in the door right here in mid, they will not be able to look over your smoke without something like a jet updraft or even a sage wall. So that's a good smoke to have if they don't have any of that. Now, you do have a couple of options here. You can leave this open if you want to, or you can smoke it just so you won't have to worry about that angle, but I would recommend just leaving it open. That way, if somebody's there as they're rotating in from window, you'll be able to catch them right there. And then you'll also want to make sure all of these angles are covered and cleared as well before you go in. And then, once you actually do go in, you want to smoke art, and you also want to smoke back here like
Smoke's
this.
down.
That way, anybody playing art won't be able to see you as you come in to shut the door, and then anybody that's playing here on this angle, trying to hold for your main players, will actually be smoked off, and they would have to peek out a little bit to try and catch you guys, but look at everywhere that they're exposed to. Your people coming in from Link, your people coming in from main. So that's going to make it much trickier for them if they want to try and get the pick. It'll force them to either back up, or if they take the fight, they've got so much they have to worry about. As far as splitting through mid and ending B, instead of smoking bottom mid, you'll want to smoke bend.
Launching smoke.
Because enemies that may be playing bend will be able to see your tiles players as they come in. But then, you do have to worry about window now as well. But once you push up, you'll be able to get that door shut. And then that angle will be cut off completely. And then as you go in, just make sure you're clearing every angle that's possible. And then, once you actually do get the space, just smoke Link, or I'm sorry, Trophy, and Jim like
Smoke's
this.
down.
Now, I did not smoke Heaven here because you actually do still have cover from Heaven when you reach back here to shut the door. So you don't have to worry about dropping a smoke there. You'll just have to worry about anybody that may be playing here and anybody that may be playing in these angles here. So smoke there instead of smoking Heaven because you'll already have cover. Just have your main players wait there until you shut the door. That way they'll be safe from anybody playing Heaven. When it comes to playing Brim on defense on Summit, I would typically recommend you play mid. That way you can drop a smoke at whichever site needs it right away. And then the barrier's literally right here as well, so what you can even do is you can drop down and then watch for anybody that may be playing tiles. And then once you get into cover, get your smokes ready, and then just smoke wherever it's needed. But as far as these defensive smokes, I like to break them down into two different categories. Those being your passive smokes, along with your aggressive smokes. The passive smoke here on A is really easy, just like this on the choke. That way, it'll make it tougher for enemies to come out without using any util. And then if you do want to get aggressive with it, you can just come out of the side of the smoke like this, and then you'll have you'll have cover from anybody that may still be watching for you in main while you try to get the picks on anybody that may be coming out. And then you can back into your smoke and get back to safety. For the aggressive smoke, you can just smoke it a little deeper into the choke right when the barrier
Launching
drops.
smoke.
Because the attacker barrier is right here. And then enemies can actually take this angle. And this is a really good angle to take when you're attacking to try to watch for early aggression. But this smoke will actually block off this angle, as you can see here, and try to make them second guess themselves in terms of pushing out without using any util. If you want to get even more feisty, you can actually drop a smoke on top of the box here
Smoke's down.
to create a little one-way for the attackers. Because again, you'll have this angle blocked off, and then on top of that, you'll be able to see the enemies as they come in before they even see you, and maybe get your picks off that way. If enemies are already pushing onto A, you can just drop a smoke right here
Launching smoke.
to make it tougher for them to actually get on site, especially if you have someone holding it with a shotgun. That way they can just boom, 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 and just wreak havoc on them as they try to get on site. Like, this is a very powerful smoke to put down for your players on site, if needed. Moving over to B attack, what you can do for the passive smoke is you can just do it on the choke here. Nice and easy, and if you want to get aggressive with it, you can do so. Just come out of the side here, and then if anybody's coming up already, you'll be able to pick them off, and you'll still have cover from anybody that may be holding deep main like that. And then as you get your picks, back up into your smoke and get back to safety, and then maybe even molly it off as well. That way it'll make it harder for them to trade. As far as getting aggressive, you could drop a smoke deeper into main like this to try to force out any util if you suspect that enemies may be coming B. And then you can even maybe combo this with your molly off of the wall like that to make it even harder for them to push out. And then let's say enemies are already pushing B. You could drop a nice little sight smoke right here to make it tougher for enemies to push over to default and try and get the bomb down in here. And especially if you have a shotgun, you can just sit in here and just wait for them to come in. Plus, if they try to go over here and plant, you'll actually have cover from main thanks to these boxes here. That way you can get them nice and easy. Mid as a defender is actually quite hard because if you smoke top mid like you would normally like this, enemies can just go on this hop up right here and look over the half wall and hold for anybody that may be trying to get aggressive in mid. Whereas with tiles, you do have a couple of options here though. You can just drop a smoke right here to try and stall anybody that may be trying to take mid space through there without forcing util out. And then do you see this double stack right here? You can actually drop a smoke on there and create a little one-way for anybody that's on tiles. Now, I will say the barrier for the defenders is right here, whereas the barrier for the attackers is right here. But once you get the barriers down, just drop that smoke immediately if you want to try that. And then you'll actually get there much quicker, especially if the tiles players are playing slow. So that's really all you can do for mid. Again, smoking here is, yeah, not going to be easy. If anybody does have a better smoke for top mid, you're more than welcome to let me know in the comments. And that's all I have for you for Summit. Be sure to leave a like if you found this helpful, and if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content. And be sure to check out these 2 videos on screen if you have not done so already. But that's going to do it for me. Let's get you guys in the next one. Peace out.